Prof, thank you very much for joining us. So here's the obvious question that I just want to ask you. Why is it important for Kate Hofmeyr to keep asking questions of Dudu Myeni when she already knows that she's not going to respond effectively?
Well, you know, it actually struck me for the first time listening to that clip you've just played, that what she's doing is that she is recording for the record that Dudu Myeni has not denied any of those allegations. Okay. And I think there's an evidentiary value in that.
So what is the value? Because my understanding of the testimony that comes out of the State Capture Commission is that what you say in your own testimony can't be used against you. It's what other people say about you that could be used in a court of law, because that's the fear that her fear, I presume, that she's going to get arrested.
Yes. Well, what she says can't be used against her in a criminal court, and it won't be used specifically against her in the commission, because the commission is not prosecuting anybody. It's making a finding on the facts. Those findings might be detrimental to her, that is quite true, but she's now got the chance to deny allegations that have been made that put her in a bad light. Now, I've been saying all along that she should actually be forced to answer, because she doesn't actually have the right to refuse to answer. But there is a value in simply putting it on record that she was given the chance to deny these allegations and she did not, which means unless someone else provides evidence against them, the allegations stand.
You say you believe she doesn't actually have the right not to answer, but isn't it part of the rules of the commission that you don't have to answer if you're going to incriminate yourself?
No, the rules of the commission specifically say you may not refuse to answer a question, but what they do is they introduce an immunity against the use of any statements you make that are self-incriminating in a criminal trial. So if she had said something today that incriminated herself, that statement could not be used as a confession in a criminal trial. The state, if it brings a prosecution, would have to prove all the elements of the crime itself without using Dudu Myeni's confession.
It's quite interesting because, of course, my reference certainly to the right to remain silent is cop shows, you know. Is this where you would typically use your right not to incriminate yourself, your right to remain silent? Are they one and the same thing?
No, you'd use it in a criminal court. You see, the way former President Zuma's been going on and the way Dudu Myeni's been going on, you would start to think that the commission is a criminal court. It isn't. Nobody's going to get convicted out of it. For any convictions to happen, the NPA has to run a prosecution and another judge in a criminal court has to find the person guilty. So the right to remain silent applies in a criminal court. It doesn't apply before the commission. That's very clear from the regulations and the terms of reference. But there is still protection against self-incrimination. It's quite important because, remember, in a criminal court, the judge can't decide a case based on what he or she has read in the newspapers. The judge will make the decision only on the evidence presented to the court. And that evidence may not include any statements made by Dudu Myeni that incriminate her. What she's afraid of.
Carry on.
Sorry, what she's afraid of, I think, is that the more she says, the more they know what to look for. So the job of prosecution becomes easier, and that is also in light of the fact that people who work for the commission can move over now and work for the NPA. But quite frankly, the things that she's refusing to answer now, it's not helping her not to answer them. Because there's no help she's withholding from the NPA when she simply refuses to speak to an allegation by somebody else.
It's interesting then, if she could have been forced to reply, that Zondo didn't push it, because it's and I'm wondering why. Particularly, could it be that she's already setting up? I'm being prejudged. If I were a white woman, you wouldn't treat me this way. And I wanted to ask you if you're seeing any signs at all of bias against her at the commission, and why they wouldn't have pushed then to force her to answer if they have that right, as you say.
I see no signs of bias against her at all. If anything, they're handling her with kid gloves. She's treated the commission with open contempt. I noticed you said earlier on that she accidentally revealed the name of Mr. X. She revealed it 4 times. And she then went on to say that there's no truth in hiding his identity. So basically, the commissioner, the chair, made a ruling, and she openly disobeyed it. She said, I disagree with you, I'm going to do this my way. So I think they have been extremely patient with her. I don't think she's actually talking to the commission anymore. I think she's talking to some other audience. That, or she's simply on some kind of slash and burn, because she is doing herself no favors, and she is allowing evidence to be assembled against her and doing nothing about it. Maybe she knows there's nothing she can do.
What other audience could she be speaking to? Are you suggesting she's trying to build a specific narrative for a specific group of people?
Yes, I think so. The same audience that Jacob Zuma is speaking to.
Oh, we're 10 days away.
There comes a point.
Yes, carry on.
I beg your pardon? There comes a point where the legal arguments, well, we've seen this in Jacob Zuma's case, and in Dudu Myeni's case, we're seeing it on the evidence you won't speak to. But there comes a point where the legal argument is so weak that you know the person making it must know, if they have any lawyers to advise them at all, that this is not going to fly before a court or a commission. So why are they making it? And there one must just guess at the psychology behind it. But if they can make as many bad arguments as possible, all of which can be turned down, then they've got, at least to the public who do not have the proper legal education, they've got some sort of basis to say, look, they're held against me every time they're biased.
Thank you so much. Very interesting. Kathy Powell, Associate Professor of Public Law at the University of Cape Town.